still inside Russia, ex-KGB agents that were part of those same operations that are confirming that his latest allegation is that Putin has video of Trump.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And this is special, people. This one is special. I say it all the time, but it's not every time that I can say we have a first. Right here on Political Drain, we've got the international man of mystery, if you will, because no one's ever seen him before, and no one's even interviewed him before. I am honored to be the first person to interview Rook T. Winchester from Closer to the Edge publication. My friend, how are you?
Very well. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you having me on your program and podcast.
I am stoked. I'm stoked to have you. So for the people who don't know, Closer to the Edge, and I'm going to say what I think it is for you guys out there. It is the closest thing to guerrilla reporting that I've seen in a while. The aesthetic on Facebook, on Substack, is one part of that, but the way that you add the humor, the context, the news that others don't report, and there's a quote on your Substack to me that kind of says it all. And if you look at Rook T. Winchester on Substack, Closer to the Edge isn't just a publication, it's a platform for people who refuse to look away. And that's why I'm here. That's what makes it guerrilla to me. I want to know, first of all, let everybody know what it is to you. What is this thing, Closer to the Edge, that you started? Where can they find it? What does it mean to you? And what does that quote mean to you?
Well, our website's closertotheedge.net. We're a publication that's recently started and blossomed with the support of our readers and subscribers. What we are is everything you said, and as far as that quote goes, you know, it's risky sometimes to say stuff and speak the truth, but it's riskier not to say anything and to let it pass. And to look back and realize you could have done something, you didn't do it. And that's why we're here, and we want to say what we want to say. There's dangerous implications in saying what we say. We're not violent. We would never use violence, but we will dish out the scorn when it's needed, because sometimes it's needed, and people need to speak up. And I think that's why our writing resonates. And with the support of our readers, we've come really far.
So when did you start this? Was this a reaction to the whole, this Trump debacle, or was this something that was that you've been doing for a while?
We started on Facebook years ago. In fact, I think it was 2016 when we started the page during that campaign. So way back when, I think we had like 2 followers, right?
Yeah.
And it was mainly just trying to keep a scrapbook of that campaign, because there was so much going on every day, just like every campaign since. And so, just on a personal level, basically having a place to post things. And then fast forward to October of last year, I think we had like 1,500 followers on Facebook, and then the election happened. And then we kept writing, and we kept going, and we started to publish articles, and some of them caught on. They were about the cabinet picks and RFK Jr. and all these strange picks for these different positions. Mm-hmm. And shortly thereafter, Facebook censored us. They shut us down for a little while, and I can talk more about that. But the result of that, a user suggested we go to Substack, and we moved our operation over there. We still maintain a presence on Facebook, but we're also over on Substack, and we're way more pleased with Substack than Facebook at this point. So now we've grown to, I think, 366,000 followers on Facebook, which still blows my mind. Blows my mind. And on Substack we're growing, but like I said earlier, without the support of our readers and subscribers, this is impossible. So this is more on them. We'd love to say it's all about our writing, but it's not. It's the resonation. It's resonating, and if we didn't have people that it was resonating with, none of this would be happening.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And it's what's needed. I think that in these times when authoritarianism is at our doorstep, when we're inside the house of authoritarianism, it's no longer at our doorstep. It's here. We have a president who no longer follows any laws. Just today, there was yet another bombing of a boat in Venezuelan waters, extrajudicially, without a war being declared. Just a bombing of a boat where 3 people died. Nobody knows who they are, what they were doing, and yet nothing will be done or can be done about it. We are in a place where the soldiers walk on the street and nobody bats an eye anymore. We're in a place where judges' rulings are suggestions. We are in the place of authoritarianism. What gets me about that quote, what I'd like to hear from you is, for people who refuse to look away, authoritarianism only succeeds when people look away. Where we are now, I believe we're there. You tell me if you agree with that. What's the best way to get out of it? Is it media driven, or is it going to end up being something a lot more physical, in your opinion?
I won't pretend to have all the answers, but I'll give you my thoughts. I'm in 100% agreement with you that we're there. We're not teetering on authoritarianism. We're not, we're not at diet authoritarianism. We're at full-fledged, it's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. How do we get out of it? I think it's going to be, there's many things I could talk about, but apathy is probably one of our biggest enemies. When people drop out, they don't care, they don't vote, they're not involved, they're spending more time on their screens and not with people, and getting sucked into echo chambers. So I think our way out of this is going to have to be connecting with one another, and especially with that apathetic voter.
Yeah.
With a third of the country that didn't vote in any of these past elections, with that person, and that's going to be an important component.
You haven't changed your message. You haven't changed how you write. Your team hasn't changed how they write, but you don't get the boot. You don't get the warning. You don't get things taken off. And that's really what I was trying to find out is, I don't even know who owns Substack, but it's the moneyed interest. It's the moneyed interest is to me the biggest hindrance to authentic media. And if we're going to get rid of this authoritarian regime, authentic media is the number one thing that you need, because information is the guillotine of fascism, right?
Yep, and that's another big difference between Substack and Facebook. On Facebook, it's very ad-driven, right? They want to generate views so they can show you ads. Substack is 100% reader-driven. You'll never see an ad on Substack because it operates on a model of, there's free subscribers, there's paid subscribers. We keep all content, for the most part, completely free, and our paid subscribers make sure that it stays that way. So that's kind of the model we operate on. Other writers, artists, They do their own things, but it's all reader supported rather than, just trying to generate clicks and, so that they can show ads in between.
Now that's exactly what I find amazing. Seeing you meet people like Mussayev, do these trips on the budget that's not what CNN has or MSNBC, or these people get millions, billions of dollars to be investigative journalists, and they don't investigate. You don't see them anywhere. And when they're there, they have no information because they're just put on the ground. A bomb goes off. Well, Jim, did you hear that? And it's like, well, what are you there for? How come you don't know anything more than I do? And you're over there, and you still found a way to get these interviews.
So in February of this year, an ex-KGB head, his name was Alner Mussayev. He lives in Vienna, Austria, because he's been exiled from Kazakhstan. But he was an ex-KGB head, not just some peon in the KGB. In February, he posted online, we've known about Donald Trump and all these Russian connections for a long time. And Mussayev came out and said, well, his code name during all this, whether he knew it or not, his code name was Krasnov. That's how these Russians, that's how we referred to him, because they're not going to talk about him with his real name.
Right.
So Krasnov was the allegation. And he said he had no smoking gun. He said, I got no proof. Right now, you just have my word. And I'm telling you, a whole bunch of other things, and you should listen. And I believe it was because of what was happening in Ukraine that Mussayev wanted to come clean, or just, I guess, come forward with what he knew, knowing that he didn't have a smoking gun, knowing he was going to face a bunch of cynicism. And he was saying, I'm not going to do interviews. So part of it's on the mainstream media, part of it was on him. But I figured, well, if he's not going to come over here for your interviews, or no one's going to get a hold of him, then I'm going to go over there and we're going to try to find him. And if we don't, it's going to be a hell of a story. But if we do, it's going to be a hell of a story. So we went over there and we had some communications with him. He was resharing some of our posts. Snopes tried to discredit him. We discredited Snopes. Snopes made a retraction, but the damage was done because a lot of people just kind of poo-pooed Mussayev's allegations. So we went over there.
I didn't know that part. You guys got Snopes to make the retraction?
Yes. Because as soon as Mussayev came out, I think it was only like 3 days after Mussayev came out with his Krasnov codename allegation, Snopes was instantly on it to discredit it. And they used some person, I believe his name was Ashimbayev, and he was living in Kazakhstan, which is still under Russian control. It was part of the Soviet bloc, and they're as tight, as they are with Belarus.
Good.
So there's some guy in Kazakhstan, and Ashimbayev, I believe, was his name. And so Snopes used him as their primary source for discrediting Mussayev. And so we dug into him and realized that he was writing all sorts of pro-Kremlin propaganda.
Wow.
And things of that nature. And so we questioned that because that was the only source that Snopes was using to really discredit.
Single source. Wow. Yep.
Yeah, so we wrote some articles and we asked our readers to contact Snopes and say, why are you relying on this guy when there's all this other supporting evidence? We're not saying it's true. We're not saying it's not true. We're reporting and we're digging. So, and then about a month later, I believe it was, Snopes made the retraction. It's still there. It's buried at the bottom of the page saying, hey, we took this out. So most people don't even see that or know that. And then there's all these other syndicates that picked up on Snopes' initial reports. And so now there's a whole bunch of things written out there that can't be corrected. that throw shade on Mussayev's allegations. So we wanted to go over there. We wanted to make sure that he wasn't a fake troll account using his name. We wanted to see this person. So we sat down and we connected over different technologies, and then decided to meet. And there was a translator there. He spoke Russian. The translator would translate, and we had cake and conversation with him at a restaurant in Vienna, and it still blows my mind.
I was just about to say, before we even get into that conversation, what I think is important. How does that feel? Like I just said, dude, you're not billionaire funded, right? You are just a guy who cares. Got a team going on Facebook, moved to Substack, and you're in Russia eating cake, drinking espresso, god damn it. Whatever, with a KGB head. Like, my I don't even know what I would feel like. What is that like?
Well, he's scary.
Right?
I mean, and you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there's been attempts on his life before. It was in Austria, so not Russia.
Okay.
Vienna.
Sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to, just in case anyone wanted to. I don't want to go into Russia. I don't think I'd last long. I don't think Putin would leave me alone.
Right.
But Vienna, Austria has been for a long time. It's been a place where spies gather. It's kind of that place in between Europe and Russia and bunch of different places. Huge city. But he fled there. And even since he fled there, they tried to kidnap him, throw him in a van. So he's also very uh, cautious, which that's one of the reasons why I didn't think we were going to get the interview. But we were over there. I sent him a message. We switched to an encrypted app. We had a live stream. But how did it feel? It was just surreal, and I still can't believe it happened.
Why did it happen? What was it that if you know, flick that switch for him?
I think there was a level of trust, because even though we didn't have any direct communications between February and when we left, um, we would write about his allegations, and then other people would write about our article, and then he would see those articles, and then he would reshare some things. There was an instance where one of our articles was plagiarized and someone took it and posted it as their own, and then he ended up resharing that in, I think, translated it to Russian, and which just amazed me that our article had somehow, through plagiarism, made it back to him.
Wow.
So, and with that, we took that as confirmation that what we had said was we had stated his allegations correctly. Um, and so we just kept on the story, as I said, discredited Snopes, made them redact their source. Again, there's still no smoking gun. I don't think there's a smoking gun until we see those videos that Putin has,
Right.
or until we can see names written on a piece of paper or a file that says Krasnov. But the reason things work this way is you don't write these things down and you don't let them out of the vault. But Mussayev's letting us know that nonetheless, that this guy's compromised, and anyone should know that by looking at him.
Let's talk about that. He's obviously compromised, or else he is just the biggest cuck in the history of presidents of the United States. So, and that could also be true, or both could be true. But obviously, I mean, this guy worships the ground that Putin walks on, rolls out the red carpet, and gets military to roll out red carpet on their knees for a Russian president. I had never thought I'd see it in my life. So I don't need anybody to tell me that he's compromised. I know he is. But what I need to know is, tell us what are those allegations? Let me hear the black and white. And then let me hear what he has to prove that? What did you find out during this?
Well, the biggest piece of proof that I wanted to get was that this guy was real. Because you can look in Wikipedia, you can see, yep, all-new Mussayev was head of the KGB. You can read all about it, but until I could see him in the flesh, I don't know who's playing around behind a computer. So,
And he matched the picture that was inside. Okay, wow.
and we got a picture with him. I got two versions, one of just him and one of me and him. So, of course, no one's seen me, so I don't really help very much with that. But I was there. I was gonna put the whole thing on dictaphone and record it, but by the time I sat down, we just talking with the translator. So I just took notes and we talked for a while. I asked him about if he feared for his life, and the answer obviously is yes. I asked him about the operation, and he said that he had new info that will be forthcoming. And I think that new info has been that he's been able to communicate with some KGB agents still inside Russia, ex-KGB agents that were part of those same operations, that are confirming that his latest allegation is that Putin has video of Trump assaulting minors. So I don't know if that video is coming from Epstein Island. I don't know. And along with a whole bunch of other things, laundering money, financial transactions, video of him. He's had several trips to Moscow. Who knows what kind of trouble he's gotten into. If he's going to break into the dressing rooms at Teen USA pageants, God knows what he's doing over there.
Yeah.
You can imagine that they have quite a file. And I think it explains why he treats Putin the way he does. And sometimes he talks tough, but if you dig, he's not doing anything. He's playing Russia's side in this Ukraine war, and you can point to all sorts of other things, but he is scared of Putin, and I see less reason not to believe Mussayev. And people are asking questions, and unfortunately, there's no smoking gun, but it is what it is.
So here's what I find interesting. It's not so much that people don't want to believe that this guy is real. And it's not that, okay, well, where are these tapes? Because you may never find those. To me, what's interesting is no one even brings it up. No one even uses it in context when speaking about the leader of the free world. No one even says, by the way, this happened in a publication somewhere else. We're looking at it. How implicated are we in the media? How implicated is America, our oligarchs, how implicated are they in these allegations and cover-ups? Because I find it hard to believe that even the name wouldn't ring a bell somewhere with somebody, because it has had to have been used in context, and it's not even that. We, the media, or the oligarchs who run the media, down to the newscasters, if you know that much. But I mean, just in your opinion, after seeing something like this.
Yeah, when the allegation first broke, I forget if it was the Daily Beast or Daily Kos, one of them published the article right away. They saw it, they realized how important it was, they published it. Within 24 hours, it got deleted. It got taken down. And then more questions started. Why'd you take it down? And there were no real forthcoming answers. And then that became part of the story. Like, why did it go up and come down? Why is reporting on an ex-KGB head's allegation that aligns with previous ex-KGB,
Cover-up is always worse than the lie, right?
And we didn't really know why, and I still don't really know why to this day they took it down. Some people are saying, well, his credibility. But his credibility was, Snopes did him a job, Snopes wrecked his story relying on someone from Kazakhstan. So, and there was a France 24 story that referenced Snopes. It's on YouTube, and they use Snopes reference as a way to discredit it. So, because they had a segment on France 24 called True or Fake, where they go through maybe a conspiracy theory or something like that to decide if it's true or fake. So they use Snopes as their evidence that it was inconclusive.
Wow.
And so there was a story, and Yahoo News did the same thing, relied on Snopes, because Snopes said, inconclusive, misleading, based on this guy. But so the damage was done. I think also because there was so much Russia in the media, so much in 2016, the Mueller report, Paul Manafort, all those ties. In the end, it didn't. I think it burned out half of America on hearing anything about a connection between Russia and Donald Trump. It made people not know what to believe. I think that's a big problem right now in our media. But I think some of these companies, they're just jumping from one car accident to the next, like you said. They're covering this, they're covering that. I don't know what happened to the brand of journalism where people would actually go and follow a story. I'd like to see more of that. I don't know where that went. It seems our late night news has been replaced with, like, I don't know, murder porn and, just, I don't know. There's the media in this country is it's gone just really soft recently. Yeah, so thank you for doing what you're doing.
Well, platforming you is my privilege, man, because this is, I just don't understand why it's not done more. And instead of asking you questions that I know would lead to hearsay, or because I have my ideas on that, I'll ask you something that I think I'd rather know if you heard, and that is, did this guy know anything about Trump's banking issues? Because although videos and salacious things are probably the number one thing that could get you, money's another one. Did he say anything about that?
He pretty much stuck to, I mean, yes, he did say there were financial transactions. Didn't really say, a lot of that's public knowledge. I should share a link with you. There's a video, I don't call him video star like yourself. He runs a show called Heathstory, like Heath, Heathstory. And he did a segment where he just threw together fact after fact after fact, where he's just throwing facts out there, like verifiable facts, not conjecture, not allegations. So talking about who was buying these buildings, which Russian oligarchs, which Russians he was doing business with. Trump did so much business with Russia, it's incredible, and a person should really go watch that video. So I can give you a link to that one. Because that really spells out, without any alleging anything, how Russia saved Trump, and it's been, bankrolling him since the 1990s.
They called him Krosnov. It was a code name assigned in secret, and it meant one thing. He wasn't just a businessman, he was a project. The KGB had a strategy: find ambitious Western businessmen, stroke their egos, and turn them into unwitting assets. In 1987, one such man arrived in Moscow, wealthy, connected, hungry for power. He thought he was there for a business deal. The Soviets had other plans. Everything you're about to hear is true, sourced from available public documents, interviews, and the accounts of those who were there. How you interpret the information is up to you.
Of that video with the post. So if you want to read it, you can, but you can just as well as listen to it. It's just full of fact, verifiable fact, and you can make up your own mind at the end of it all, but you learn quite a bit in 10 minutes.
What I'm hoping here, YouTube, what I'm hoping to do here for someone like me, for the people who know how important what I keep calling this guerrilla media. The most important thing to come out of this YouTube is that you follow, that you go read the articles, that you sign up. I get it in my email. Like I don't really go too much to Substack. I'm always doing this or recording or teaching or doing something, but I get it in my email. I get that laugh, or I get that, wow, I didn't know about that. Of course, you guys know we got a partnership with Ground News. Go there. Ground News has very quickly become one of my most prized resources, my go-to even, because I get to find out what stories are not covered by the blind spot feature, which I love. But not just the blind spot feature. Any of these stories that I bring up, I can see what either side is saying about it. I can also see who's paying for those headlines. It tells me who owns the publication, which also lets me know who they're writing it for. Many times, none of that is for us. But understanding the context helps us understand the story. Ground News is absolutely one of, if not the best way to know that you've gotten every side of a story and that there's not enough spin in the world that could have you misinterpret it. All of this is context. All of these are things that give you context on the life that you're living right now. It's not just entertainment. It's important. And the reason why it's important will only be known at that time when it becomes important to you. I promise you. In the last 9 months, out of all the stories that you've written, what's been the most important or the most impactful to our society that you can remember, that you want everyone to have read and learn something from?
Gosh, we've done so many great articles. We've done, I think, over 430 articles so far this year. Also, for your viewers that aren't readers, if you go to Substack, it'll play audio of all of our articles, so you don't need to read anything. You can just listen. I think you can pick. I think you can pick the voice that. But the article that's sticking in my head right now is an article we did about Mr. Rogers' testimony to Congress around the time that PBS funding got cut, and mainly just because of Mr. Rogers and just looking for those helpers. I think was one of the things that he had said in these times of crises. Look for the helpers. Implication of that is be a helper. You know. So it was uh, it was a article, even writing it made a person cry. So we touched a lot of people, and I think more helping and less complaining. I mean, there's plenty to complain about. I'm not saying don't complain, but if we can get more people helping, whatever that means. When we all, we can come up with 100 different examples of helping. But I think that's one of the important articles we've written about. We write letters to senators where we'll use metaphors that aren't nice. We've recently wrote a letter to Amy Coney Barrett and compared her to herpes because she's lifelong and she's awful and she breaks out from time to time, which is terrible things. So you can say that's inflammatory, and I guess it's fine, but we're using words as weapons. We're not going to use bullets. We're not going to use we're nonviolent. It doesn't mean we're going to say nice things and filter ourselves.
That's comedy, though. That is funny. That broke out laughing when I heard that. That is beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's hard because some of our articles will just walk you through an emotional minefield. Where one moment you'll be pissed off, and then the next moment you'll be laughing your ass off because we just compared Lindsey Graham to a Build-A-Bear or something like that. Because I don't know. You can report the news and you can just say, although I don't know. It's just I feel like if you're gonna act a certain way, then don't be surprised when a certain metaphor comes your way. If you're scared of being called out for going on Carnival cruises during disasters, then don't do that, Ted Cruz. There's a way to deliver some of the news with some humor. Sometimes you can't because situations there's nothing funny about it. And in those instances, it's gonna, you got to take the humor out of it because not everything's funny.
Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line? Can you even answer that?
Yeah, well, with when people die, when anyone dies, um, like I'll laugh at myself if I sprain my ankle getting out of the shower or whatever, but like if someone dies or gets hurt, it's just not, I don't like poking fun at that. That's, almost anything else I think is okay. But if someone got hurt, or there was a death, I don't think it's okay to laugh at death. Uh, Even you could say the person deserved it, didn't deserve it. It's not, whatever. I'm not saying celebrate, yeah, but I'm saying don't be violent. And I'm saying, you know, for me anyway, I'm not, this publication will not be used to laugh at people dying.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're from Gaza. I don't care if they're, I don't care if they're from, Israel. I don't care if it's a kid at a school. I don't care, but we're not going to laugh at death because
Yeah.
if we laugh at death, that's like the ultimate form of apathy. Then we really don't care. So I won't tell people how to feel. I just want to let it be known that this publication will not be laughing about uh, death or making any jokes about death.
What question do you wish you were asked before we leave?
Well, you're asking me all sorts of great questions. So
I appreciate that.
the questions that I wish I was asked. Um, I think it's a question that I have for a lot of other people. But if someone wants to ask it of me, that'd be just fine. And that's how do we, how do we grow our contingency? Whether it's the apathetic people coming back over to the side of caring again, or harder to deal with in the case of some of these Trump voters, right?
Yeah.
Like if a Trump voter came back to you after the 2016 election and said, "Oh shit, I messed up," right? That'd be a lot easier than it is now, where someone's voted for him 3 times and now they want to come back. There's like no one wants to feel like, well, I don't feel sorry for you then. But, and I get that. I'm not telling people how to feel. But for that family farmer that just lost his farm, let's say he voted for Trump 3 times and now he's pissed off because it's affected him. And unfortunately, that's how it works for some of these people.
Yeah.
But if we just tell that person to, to suck it up and, go find some bootstraps and this is all your fault and why don't you just fuck off? If that's our attitude, then we're not going to grow our contingency. I'm not saying I have the answers, and I suppose that's why I wouldn't mind you asking me the question, and we'll sort it out. But, how do we grow? How do we, because some of these people, some of these, MAGA people, they're gonna abandon the MAGA ship. And, how are we going to treat them after that? I won't pretend to have all the answers. And then the people that haven't voted, how are we going to treat them? Because not voting is that's egregious as well.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, but that's a big question and it still needs an answer.
I'll make a video about it. How about that?
Yeah.
I made a video about the farmers, but see, from a military perspective, that person, in my mind, is the perfect person to use as an instrument. If I can use that person as a pawn or a knight, fight back against the people who are really hurting his farm, if I could get that person to stand on the line instead of anybody else, that's how I approach it. And it's selfish. It's using them in a way that maybe many people wouldn't want to say out loud, but I do it because I understand the stakes and what it's going to take to get past this moment that has only just started. Even if you can laugh at it, but if you get in a constant resistance mindset of, is this an asset or a hindrance? you start to be able to think through problems rather than hide from them, and think through issues dealing with people who you normally couldn't talk to because you're trying to convince them of something. But when it becomes, can I use them as an asset? You're no longer trying to convince them of that. You're just trying to become a better actor. And this is the ways that I like to think about those things. But it may be harsher than some want to.
No, and we struggle with it as well, but and apologies aren't going to be enough. I've seen a few MAGA people saying, "Oh, I'm sorry." Well, that ain't enough. You need to get on the front lines, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And we're not, saying, but it's a matter of vengeance is one of those words, right? Like Trump says he's gonna avenge, and like. It's like you can come at it with cruelty, and you can come at it with this, and I ain't saying sing kumbaya with your redheaded neighbor. Like I ain't saying that. Like I worry about these people that are finally waking up, and sadly, it's only because it affected them. But I'm glad they're waking up because they're the ones that are going to be able to reach the rest of the cult, the ones that are leaving the cult, even they're the ones that are going to be able to reach back in, because a lot of us are done with trying to convince any of them, because it's like barking at a tree. It's just so but I just want to be cognizant of what the plan is to deal with the person that hasn't voted in the past 3 elections. Do we chastise them and shame them, or is there a better way? Is there a better way to deal with the family farmer who just lost his farm that voted for Trump 3 times than to just say, well, you deserve it, without realizing and maybe you can say that he does. There's other family farmers that vote Democrat, right?
Yeah.
Do they deserve it? And I don't know. It's an interesting moral game, I guess, but I don't want to be on the side of cruelty. I don't want to be on the side of vengeance. I don't want to be on the side of violence. There are certain places I don't want to go with our publication, and I know our writers feel the same way. And I don't have the answers. I'm curious to figure it out. Because what I don't want is, you push them away, and and that's, a lot of times when they get violent, that's kind of their go-to for dealing with their emotions,
Yep. Yep.
It's hard to be kind to the unkind. It's hard to be, a lot of this is really challenging work, and I ain't saying be kind to Hitler. I ain't saying be kind to Trump. I'm not saying be kind to, people that mean to cause you harm. I don't.
Well, there's no. And there's 2 parts to that, and I'll let you go soon. I mean, we've been on for a long time. I mean, I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for doing this. I was going to ask a question about Charlie Kirk, because you mentioned, what your line was, and that idea that death is the line for you. I was going to get your thoughts on it, but I find this to be more important. There is a place for people to land. There is a broader philosophical conversation on where the country needs to go as a United States. There's a political conversation of how to fight or how to legislate. And there's a in the moment tactical question where I'm only answering that last one. But those other 3 are for other people who know them better. And I have a feeling you're one of them that may know those other 3 better than myself. So my answer is tactical, but without you, it means nothing. And I just wanted to say it's appreciated. And for you, YouTube, for my viewers out there who know what I'm talking about, because you hear me talk about this all the time, go check it out, because that's the other side of what you see on this channel. that everything you learn on this channel, all of the tactics that you get here, all of the catharsis you get here, and all of the practical resistance you get here means nothing without that guerrilla media that's also into the legislative, the philosophical, the comedy. It's necessary. It's not to be poo-pooed or thrown away. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I just want everyone to, be them and do what you can do to help. And come check us out at closertotheedge.net. Subscribe, free or paid. Every subscriber helps us.
Give him $1, man. My God.
Yeah, it's not about the dollars, it's about the truth. Without the dollars, we can't do this, but we want to keep it free. We want to keep it ad free. We want to give a big thank you to our subscribers and readers and the people that our articles are resonating with.
Yeah.
Big thanks to you, Drill Sarge. I really appreciate the time and you turning me into this avatar. And I might look different next time. I don't know. I did put this thing together real quick. So.
Outstanding. Sir, thank you very much. We got to do this again, and I'm going to sign off. It's appreciated. YouTube, you know what to do. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.